Infidelity is one of the most painful challenges a relationship can face. When trust is broken, it cuts deep, leaving emotional scars that don't heal overnight. Whether you are the one who cheated or the one who was betrayed, the experience shakes the foundation of what you thought was secure. It's important to understand that this pain affects everyone involved, not just the couple, but often the family, friends, and even the individual's own sense of self. Recognizing this shared hurt is the first step toward finding a way forward. When it comes to holding each other accountable, fairness is absolutely crucial. If one partner is shaming the other for cheating, but has a history of similar behavior themselves, that double standard only creates more damage. Nobody wants to feel like they're being judged harshly for something the other person did first or worse. True accountability means applying the same expectations to yourself that you expect from your partner. Without this consistency, resentment will grow and the wounds will deepen. Admitting to past mistakes, especially ones as serious as infidelity, is difficult but necessary. It takes courage to come clean and face the consequences, yet it's the only way to rebuild trust. When one partner openly acknowledges their past errors, it lays the groundwork for honest communication. Without honesty, a relationship cannot heal because secrets and denial act like poison, slowly eating away at any chance of reconciliation. A relationship cannot thrive if double standards exist around fidelity. Allowing yourself or your partner to stray while demanding complete loyalty from the other is unfair and unjust. This imbalance breeds bitterness and mistrust. Both partners need to agree on the rules of their relationship and be equally committed to upholding them. When fairness is missing, it becomes impossible to move forward together in a healthy way. Communication, even when it feels uncomfortable or painful, is essential. Talking openly about why infidelity happened can reveal underlying problems that need attention. It's not about placing blame, but about understanding each other's feelings and needs. When couples are able to communicate honestly, they increase their chances of preventing future betrayals and rebuilding the emotional connection that was lost. Public shaming or humiliating a partner rarely solves anything and often makes matters worse. Calling someone out in front of others might feel like a release in the moment, but it doesn't foster healing or forgiveness. The real work happens in private, where respect and empathy create space for difficult conversations. True healing requires patience and kindness, not humiliation and anger. Finally, it's important to remember that the past doesn't have to define the future. People make mistakes, but what really matters is how they choose to move forward. Forgiveness is a personal choice that helps release bitterness and opens the door for peace, whether or not the relationship continues. Rebuilding trust takes time, effort, and sometimes outside help. Whether it's counseling or simply honest, ongoing dialogue, couples can find a way back if both are willing to put in the work. Accountability in relationships is about taking responsibility for your actions, but it has to be consistent to be meaningful. When one partner holds the other to a standard they don't meet themselves, it creates an unfair and unbalanced dynamic. This inconsistency breeds resentment and mistrust because it feels like there are different rules for each person. Without consistency, accountability becomes a tool for blame rather than a path toward healing. It's easy to judge someone else's mistakes when we aren't fully honest about our own. Sometimes people point fingers to distract from their own shortcomings or to protect their ego. But when you want to build a healthy relationship, you have to be willing to look in the mirror and admit where you have fallen short. If you expect your partner to be truthful and faithful, you have to hold yourself to the same standard. Inconsistent accountability can also make one partner feel like their feelings and experiences don't matter. When someone is being shamed for their mistakes while the other's similar actions are ignored or forgiven, It sends a message that fairness isn't important. This can deepen wounds and create emotional distance. Both partners deserve to be treated with equal respect and honesty. Accountability is more than just admitting you did something wrong. It's about making changes to avoid repeating the same mistakes. If someone calls out their partner for cheating but refuses to take responsibility for their own past behavior, it shows a lack of commitment to growth. True accountability requires not only honesty but also action and a willingness to improve. Holding others accountable while excusing yourself can lead to cycles of blame and conflict. It creates an environment where people are defensive and unwilling to be vulnerable. When partners are defensive, real communication shuts down and problems fester. Being consistent with accountability helps create a safe space where both people can be open about their struggles and work together on solutions. Sometimes people confuse accountability with punishment or humiliation, but holding someone accountable isn't about shaming or trying to control them. It's about mutual respect and fairness. When both partners are held to the same standards, it fosters trust and cooperation. That consistency is what helps couples move forward instead of getting stuck in anger and blame. At the end of the day, accountability must be a shared value in a relationship. Without it, trust erodes and resentment grows. When both people are willing to be honest about their mistakes and hold themselves to the same expectations they have for their partner, it creates a foundation for healing and growth. Consistent accountability is one of the most important ingredients for a relationship that can survive the hardest challenges. Owning your past mistakes honestly is one of the toughest but most important things you can do in any relationship. When you admit to errors, especially serious ones like infidelity, it shows a level of maturity and respect for your partner. It means you're willing to face the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. Hiding or denying your mistakes only builds walls of secrecy and suspicion that eventually crumble the relationship from within. Being honest about your past isn't about punishing yourself or dragging up old wounds to cause pain. Instead, it's about creating a foundation of trust where both partners know they can be vulnerable and real with each other. When you own your actions, you take control of the narrative, and it becomes easier for your partner to understand what happened and why. This kind of openness can be painful at first, but it's the only way to truly heal. Many people fear that admitting to past mistakes will lead to judgment, rejection, or even the end of the relationship. While those are real risks, the alternative, hiding the truth, often leads to worse outcomes. Secrets have a way of surfacing unexpectedly, and when they do, the betrayal can feel even deeper. Being upfront about your past shows courage and a willingness to work through difficult issues together rather than avoiding them. When you take responsibility for your actions, you also empower yourself to change. Acknowledging that you made mistakes is the first step toward growth. It means you're not stuck in denial or blame, but are ready to learn and do better in the future. This kind of accountability is attractive and reassuring to a partner because it shows commitment to the relationship and to personal integrity. Honesty about past mistakes can also prevent repetition. When both partners understand what went wrong before, they can work together to address the root causes, whether it's unmet emotional needs, communication breakdowns, or personal struggles. Facing these issues honestly allows the couple to create healthier patterns moving forward. Without owning up to the past, those same mistakes are more likely to happen again. It's important to remember that owning your mistakes doesn't mean asking for forgiveness right away or expecting it to be freely given. Forgiveness is a process that takes time, and the person you hurt has every right to feel angry or hurt. Being honest simply means you are transparent about what happened and are willing to face the consequences of your actions. This honesty lays the groundwork for healing, even if it takes a while. Ultimately, owning your past mistakes honestly builds the kind of trust that can withstand future challenges. It shows that you respect your partner enough to be truthful and that you are serious about making the relationship work. While no one is perfect, being real about where you've fallen short is one of the strongest ways to create a bond that can heal, grow, and last. Communication is the lifeblood of any relationship, especially when it comes to difficult topics like infidelity. It's not always easy to talk about feelings of hurt, betrayal, or anger, but avoiding those conversations only allows misunderstandings and resentment to build up over time. Being willing to open up and have honest discussions, even when it feels uncomfortable, is essential to working through problems together. Many people shy away from uncomfortable conversations because they fear conflict or don't want to cause more pain. But bottling up emotions often does more harm than good. When feelings are left unspoken, they fester and grow, leading to emotional distance between partners. It's important to remember that discomfort in communication doesn't mean failure. It often means you're addressing something important that needs attention. Being vulnerable during tough conversations requires courage. It means putting your feelings on the table without knowing exactly how the other person will react. Sometimes you might feel exposed or afraid of being judged, yet vulnerability is a bridge to deeper understanding. When both partners are willing to share their truth honestly, it creates space for empathy and healing to happen. Effective communication isn't just about talking, it's also about listening. Listening with an open mind and heart, without interrupting or becoming defensive, allows you to truly understand your partner's perspective. When people feel heard, it lowers barriers and reduces tension. This mutual respect in communication can help prevent small disagreements from turning into major conflicts. It's also important to choose the right time and place for difficult conversations. Trying to discuss sensitive issues in the heat of an argument or when one person is distracted often leads to misunderstandings. Setting aside time when both partners can focus and remain calm helps create a safe environment for honest dialogue. This intentional approach shows that you value the relationship enough to give it your full attention. Sometimes, despite best efforts, conversations don't go smoothly. Emotions can run high, and misunderstandings can happen. When this occurs, it's crucial to take a break if needed and come back to the discussion later. Communication is a skill that takes practice, patience, and persistence. The goal is not to win an argument, but to build connection and find solutions together. At the end of the day, embracing uncomfortable conversations is a sign of a strong and committed relationship. It shows that both partners are willing to face hard truths rather than hide behind silence or avoidance. By making communication a priority even when it's tough, couples create a foundation that can withstand challenges and grow stronger through adversity. When someone feels betrayed in a relationship, the immediate reaction can be intense anger and a desire to expose the other person's wrongdoing. It's understandable to want others to know about the hurt you've experienced, but publicly shaming or humiliating a partner rarely leads to healing or resolution. Instead, it often deepens the pain and creates more conflict, making it harder for both people to move forward. Public humiliation can feel like a way to regain control or assert power when you feel vulnerable and hurt. However, this approach usually backfires because it breeds resentment and defensiveness rather than understanding. When someone is shamed in front of others, their natural response is often to shut down or lash out, which only escalates the situation. Healthy relationships require safe spaces for honest communication, not arenas for public judgment. Another problem with shaming your partner publicly is that it shifts the focus from the real issues in the relationship to blame and embarrassment. Instead of working together to understand why the betrayal happened and how to prevent it in the future, the conversation becomes about winning or losing. This competitive dynamic makes it impossible to repair trust because it encourages one partner to feel attacked rather than supported. It's also important to consider the long-term consequences of public humiliation. The damage done is not just emotional, it can affect reputations, friendships, and family dynamics. Once something hurtful is said or shared in public, it can't easily be taken back. These wounds can linger and create lasting barriers between partners, making forgiveness and reconciliation much more difficult to achieve. True healing requires privacy, respect, and empathy. When difficult topics like cheating come up, the best path forward is to have honest but compassionate conversations behind closed doors. This doesn't mean ignoring the pain or pretending everything is okay. It means creating an environment where both partners feel safe enough to express their feelings and work through the hurt together. It's also worth mentioning that shaming someone publicly rarely leads to positive change. People are much more likely to grow and improve when they feel understood and supported rather than attacked and humiliated. Encouraging accountability in a loving way opens the door for genuine remorse and efforts to rebuild trust, while public humiliation usually results in denial and further damage. In the end, while it may be tempting to react with anger and shame, those feelings are best handled privately and constructively. Public humiliation does not solve problems, it only compounds them. Healing a relationship after infidelity takes patience, respect, and understanding qualities that cannot be nurtured through shame or public exposure. If couples want to rebuild what's been broken, they have to choose compassion over condemnation. The past does not define your future. The past can feel like a heavy burden, especially when it's filled with mistakes or painful experiences. It's easy to believe that what has happened will always shape who you are and what your future holds. But the truth is, your past does not have to control your life or your relationships. While you can't change what's already happened, you do have the power to decide how you respond and what you do next. Many people get stuck in a cycle of regret and guilt, replaying their past wrongs over and over in their minds. This can create feelings of shame and hopelessness, making it hard to move forward, but holding on to those negative feelings only keeps you trapped. Recognizing that you are more than your past mistakes is an important step toward healing and growth. It's important to understand that everyone makes mistakes, nobody is perfect, and everyone has moments they wish they could take back. What matters most is how you learn from those experiences. When you take responsibility and commit to changing your behavior, you open the door to a new chapter. Your past becomes a teacher rather than a jailer. Choosing not to let your past define you means focusing on your present actions and future goals. You can decide to live differently, to make better choices, and to build healthier relationships. This requires courage because it means stepping into the unknown and taking responsibility for your growth. But it also offers hope because it shows that change is possible no matter what happened before. Forgiveness plays a huge role in this process. Forgiving yourself and others for past mistakes allows you to release bitterness and pain that might otherwise weigh you down. Forgiveness doesn't erase what happened, but it frees you from being chained to those experiences. It helps you create space for new possibilities and peace of mind. Healing and rebuilding trust after a betrayal or mistake takes time, but it can be done. When both partners are committed to growth and willing to face the past honestly without letting it define their future, relationships can become stronger than ever. It's not about forgetting or pretending the hurt never happened. It's about choosing to move forward with intention and hope. Ultimately, the past is just one part of your story, not the whole story. Your future is shaped by what you do today and every day after. By learning from your mistakes, taking responsibility, and embracing change, you can create a life and relationships that reflect your best self rather than your worst moments. The past does not define you unless you allow it to. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful but also most misunderstood concepts in relationships. Many people feel pressured to forgive quickly because they think it's the right thing to do or because society tells them forgiveness is required to move on. However, forgiveness is never something you owe anyone. It is a personal choice that each individual must make when they are truly ready. Forcing forgiveness before you are prepared can do more harm than good. When someone has been hurt, especially through something as serious as infidelity, the pain can be deep and overwhelming. It's natural to feel anger, sadness, and betrayal. These emotions are valid and deserve to be felt. Forgiveness does not mean denying or minimizing that pain. Instead, it means eventually deciding to release the hold that pain has on your heart so you can find peace for yourself. It's important to understand that forgiveness is primarily about freeing yourself, not excusing the other person's behavior. Holding on to anger and resentment can keep you trapped in a cycle of suffering and bitterness. Forgiving is a way to take back control of your own emotional well-being. It allows you to heal and move forward with your life, regardless of whether the relationship continues. That said, forgiveness should never be rushed or forced. It takes time to work through complex feelings, especially after trust has been broken. Sometimes people feel guilty for not forgiving quickly enough or worry they will never be able to forgive. But forgiveness is a process, not an event. It unfolds at your own pace and only when you genuinely feel ready. Choosing to forgive doesn't mean you have to forget what happened or pretend everything is okay. It doesn't mean you have to stay in a relationship that isn't healthy or safe. Forgiveness is about letting go of the emotional burden for your own sake, not about giving the other person a free pass or reopening yourself to harm. You have the right to set boundaries that protect your well-being. Sometimes, forgiveness also requires empathy, trying to understand the reasons behind someone's actions without excusing them. This can be incredibly difficult, but can help you see the situation in a new light. Empathy doesn't justify the hurt, but can soften the pain enough to allow forgiveness to take root. It's a step toward healing that benefits both parties, even if only internally. Ultimately, forgiveness is a choice that empowers you. It's a gift you give yourself so you don't stay stuck in anger or pain forever. Whether you choose to forgive or not is entirely up to you, and either way, your feelings are valid. The key is to be honest with yourself about where you are emotionally and to give yourself the grace and time you need to heal. Rebuilding trust after it has been broken is one of the most challenging processes a relationship can go through. Trust isn't something that can be repaired overnight, especially when infidelity or betrayal is involved. It takes consistent effort from both partners over a long period of time. The person who broke the trust must be willing to show through their actions, not just their words, that they are committed to making things right. One of the hardest parts of rebuilding trust is understanding that the person who was hurt may not be ready to forgive or forget quickly. Their feelings of pain, anger, or suspicion are valid and need to be acknowledged. Trying to rush the healing process can push them further away or make the wounds deeper. Patience is essential, and the partner who betrayed the trust must be willing to give their loved one the time they need. Transparency becomes a vital part of rebuilding trust. This means being open about your actions, whereabouts, and feelings without expecting privacy as a shield for dishonesty. The person who betrayed the trust needs to demonstrate that they have nothing to hide. This can be uncomfortable and difficult, but it's necessary to show genuine commitment to change and to help the other person feel safe again. Consistent communication is also crucial during this time. Both partners need to talk openly about their feelings, fears, and hopes. The person who was hurt should feel free to express their doubts and frustrations without judgment, while the other partner listens without becoming defensive. This honest exchange helps to rebuild emotional intimacy and create a stronger connection. Small, everyday actions build the foundation for trust over time. It might be something as simple as following through on promises, being punctual, or showing kindness and respect consistently. These small acts add up and reassure the hurt partner that the relationship is becoming more reliable and stable. Over time, these actions speak louder than apologies alone. It's important to remember that setbacks can happen during this process. Rebuilding trust is not a straight line. It often involves moments of doubt and difficulty. When this happens, it's crucial not to give up, but to recommit to the work needed. Both partners need to be honest about what's working and what isn't so they can adjust and keep moving forward. Ultimately, rebuilding trust is about creating a new foundation that is stronger and healthier than before. It requires dedication, honesty, patience, and love from both partners. When done right, the process can lead to a deeper understanding and a more resilient relationship that can withstand future challenges. Sometimes the problems in a relationship feel bigger than what two people can handle on their own. When trust has been broken or emotions run high, it can be difficult to see a clear path forward. That's when seeking help from an outside source can make all the difference. Whether it's a counselor, therapist, or trusted advisor, having a neutral third party can provide perspective and tools that couples might not have on their own. Many people hesitate to ask for help because they feel ashamed or worry that admitting they need support means their relationship is failing. The truth is, reaching out for help shows strength and a genuine desire to work through difficulties. It's a proactive step toward healing rather than a sign of defeat. Recognizing when you need assistance and being willing to get it is one of the healthiest choices you can make. Professional counselors or therapists are trained to guide couples through the complex emotions and challenges that arise after betrayal or conflict. They can teach communication skills, help uncover underlying issues, and create a safe space for both partners to express their feelings honestly. These experts can also help couples rebuild trust by developing practical strategies tailored to their unique situation. Sometimes seeking help isn't just about couples therapy. Individuals might benefit from personal counseling to work through their own pain, anger, or guilt. Healing starts within each person, and when both partners take responsibility for their own growth, the relationship has a much better chance of surviving and thriving. Outside help supports that individual process as well as the partnership. It's important to remember that healing takes time and progress is rarely linear. Having a professional guide during the ups and downs can keep couples focused and motivated. When challenges arise, a counselor can help prevent setbacks from becoming roadblocks. They provide encouragement and tools to navigate difficult conversations and emotional triggers. Beyond professionals, sometimes help comes from trusted friends or family members who can offer support and perspective. However, it's important that these people remain neutral and don't take sides, as this can create more tension. The goal of seeking help is to foster understanding and growth, not to deepen divides or fuel conflict. Ultimately, no relationship exists in isolation, and sometimes outside support is exactly what's needed to move from pain to healing. Whether through therapy or trusted confidants, asking for help is a courageous and necessary step toward rebuilding a healthier, stronger relationship. It shows a commitment to growth and a belief that the relationship is worth saving.